I'm pretty sure I got an Iceberg indicator on Trader Workstation. So watch the volume swell if we hit an iceberg. There's the icebergs right here. He already hit 2 or 3 of them. So people are talking about bookmap, which they say shows icebergs. Well, what they're not telling you is it doesn't show icebergs. It only shows the 10% because that's what they pay for until it's hit. And then when it's hit, the bubble starts to swell, and that shows you that it's filling more orders at that same order number. So basically, it's just showing you that that same buyer is buying more and more orders. It doesn't show you like there's a 1,000 contract order setting here. That's not what it does. If there was a 1,000 contract order, it would show 100, 10%. Then when it hit that 100, it would keep refilling. And that's the same thing what this volume does when it swells. See, there were some icebergs here. That's why it's popping up. And I missed the volume swell. I'll see if I can catch one. The entire volume row, but mostly the one you're on will swell up. It's doing it now. Look, that's not the true volume. You see the dark green? That's the true volume. The other is the iceberg swell. There is icebergs here. And also the thing about icebergs, you see the dark green, that's the true volume. The other one is the swell. This is 2-minute candles. When the 2-minute candle's over, it'll go back to where it's the original volume. The other thing about icebergs is just because it's an iceberg doesn't mean it's going to get broken. I mean, there could be a 2,000 contract seller and a 1,000 contract iceberg. You don't know. It's probably going to reverse on me here. I don't want to see it over this. Yeah, here we go. You see how that volume went back down? You see how it's popping? Do you see that on the red? It's the same thing as iceberg, just in a different format. I mean, it's a nice downtrend. The problem is we're at the very bottom of a tiny range, of a 25-point range at the most. We're at the very bottom of it, and I don't feel like it's going to break it because there's a boatload of traffic at 770 to 767. So I'm in a bad spot. I might just close it out and wait and see what happens. It's not dropping. It's flagging, but it just refuses to drop. Look at all this red volume. It ain't going anywhere. There's like, yeah, I just got to close it out. I was hoping for another spike down through it. What's also weird is Interactive Broker shows that it spiked to 766, but the candle never went that far, but it did on level 2. Yeah, he's fixing to jump up on me. You see that iceberg? You see that right there? There we go. Now it'll fail on me. You see that's an iceberg. You see how it's light green, how big the candle is? You see the dark green? That's the actual volume. My God, well, I think it's the actual volume. Now it's changing. I don't know exactly how it works. All I know is it's a freaking iceberg. I was just scalping back to even, but I don't feel like this is going to return to the top of the range. I feel like it's going to quit right here or maybe up into here. Although it's looking pretty damn good right now. That's the problem with these kind of trades is you gotta, I mean, I'm only up like $100 because I was down $100, but you got to take them off here. It just drops all the way back, and then you end up with nothing. And then when you take it off here conservatively, what happens is it keeps going. Or even if you leave one to the top, you're like, okay, it's at the top. I'm gonna take my last one off. Goes through the top like it doesn't even exist and just runs another 40 points when it's been stuck in the same range for like 4 days. And today's the day you decide to be conservative and it runs. And it does, it's not like it's gonna break out and pull back and give you a setup. It's just gonna run. Oh, it's so irritating. So what I normally do is if it does make it through here, I'll stop this other one out below the 9. If it does make it through here, I'll add up at the top. It'll only bring my, in other words, I'll give up whatever profit I have, I'll just risk it. Not all the profit, just the profit off whatever contracts I have left. So I'll add here, double up, and so it'll bring my cost average up to here, which is a good point. And that way, if it keeps running, if it doesn't pull back, if it breaks the top, doesn't pull back and give me a setup, it keeps running, well, I've already doubled my contracts. Look, you see the volume? You see it pop up? It gives you a sense into the speed and the size of the order. So it could be an iceberg. So this 200 here could be 2,000 because they're only required to show 10%. And this volume, when it swells up like that, it gives you an idea if it's one big buyer or just a bunch of people in their home office, which that's fairly unlikely at one exact number. The thing about bookmap data is that for one thing, it's ridiculous looking. It just looks like somebody threw a can of paint on the screen. But just because there's a load of orders there doesn't mean they're not going to go away. Just like these guys, dude, there's tons of spoofing that goes on. I can sit here and watch orders pop on, like especially on anything really, especially on the triple Q, triple Q, and things like that. I sat here and watched one day this guy with 1,700. It would be 1,700. I don't remember what it was, every 10 cents or so for like 50 cents. And then every time it would get within 10 cents of the 1,700, that order would disappear. So in other words, if it went to 9 cents, the 17 order would disappear. If it dropped back to 8 cents, it would pop back on again. It's algorithm spoofing. They can't stop that. Well, they could, but they don't know how to do it. It's not like the Federal Trade Commission is some technological wizards. They can barely keep up with what they're doing. I mean, look at the insider trading. We can't even pass the insider trading bill. This is one of the best indicators. It's a SPY level 2 consolidated to 50 cents, but it works great. You can see they're having a battle right now. It keeps flipping back and forth. But when one of them switches sides and prolong, here we're coming out of the flag now. I don't want to add because we're flagging right into resistance. I mean, I'd love to add, but it's probably just going to fail. Can't believe it hasn't failed already. Of course, it could either fail or just run right up and blow through the top. Who knows? If I add, though, I can't add here. I have to wait for it to break into here and then pull back. If I add here, it'll bring my cost average up here and I'll be screwed when it pulls back. You can see it's starting to build on volume now. You still can't get through though. They're still pretty much even. Once they get about 2,000 or 3,000 separated and one stays higher than the other, then you got a direction. Besides, we're right exactly in the middle of a small range from 93 to 71. So the rule is I don't diddle in the middle. Well, that's supposed to be the rule, but I always break it. So if I see an obvious takeoff, like a high speed break out of this flag here, I would probably add to my size, but it'll slam into this and fail on me and I'll say, damn it, why did I add? But I'm only supposed to trade at the bottom of the top. It's bad enough where I'm at now. That's because I was short down here at the bottom, which was opposite of what I was supposed to be. And on here, this looks like a mini little bull flag for another rise up, but on the 5-minute, it just looks like we had a nice pullback and it's going to break down again from here because it never really touched the bottom. Yeah, it did. It touched exactly the bottom of the level, almost exactly here. The bottom of the main level, there's some spikes, another 5 points under that, but it may revisit it. It usually does a double tap. I don't know, we'll find out here in a minute. You see the speed that pulling up with, but nothing here. That's just small orders. Probably retail traders buying the flag. You see what I mean? Here's the SPY. There's virtually no difference. The only difference is it's cheaper to trade the MES or ES than the SPY. It's exactly the same. I don't know how that works, but it's exactly the same.